We start the meeting of the Conservation Commission. Obviously, all of you realize this is the first meeting we're having since we had to do Zoom meetings, and we all were looking forward to getting back to the way we used to be. I would just ask the commissioners to be your normal self and be as obnoxious as you always are. So we start the Conservation Commission meeting. Before I get to the first item on the agenda, I'd just like to take a moment of silence for Bobby Greenwood. Bobby Greenwood passed away a week or so ago. Bobby was a Conservation Commissioner for 30 years in the town of Chelmsford, which is a very long term to serve this town. He also had other active duties in town. At one time, he was on the Board of Health, and Bobby always had a perspective for us that kind of brought us back to earth, and that's what was so good about him. So just a moment of silence for him. Thank you all. That's very nice. Is there anything to come before the Conservation Commission this evening that's not on our posted agenda? Hearing none, we'll go to the agenda. I'd like, if the Commission's in agreement, to take two items out of order. The one is an extension request for 7 Gorham Street, and the second one, which is from the same applicant, is an extension request for 50 Hunt Road. Is the applicant here?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair. It's nice to see all the commissioners in person. Nice to be back at the podium. Good evening, Melissa Robbins from the law firm of Farrell and Robbins. We're here tonight requesting 2 extensions of orders of conditions. Theoretically, these orders have expired during the emergency order of the COVID policy through DEP. As this commission knows, as of March 10th, 2010, all orders of conditions were told. However, the DEP did not want to give your conservation agent or myself a very clear, definitive decision on whether or not a formal extension was required. Shocking. Exactly, which is not shocking. So I'm here tonight just seeking a formal extension, which would be the extension of time that these 2 orders were told during the COVID emergency order. One is for 7 Gorham Street and one is for 50 Hunt Road. I have the exact times if the board wants to take action on them separately. The first one for 7 Gorham Street would be an extension of exactly 299 days, which is an extension from March 10th, 2020, to the expiration date, which would have been June 15th, 2021, which would extend this order till Sunday, April 10th, 2022, exactly 299 days.
I think we can do them both together. What's the second one?
The second one is for 50 Hunt Road. It would have expired on June 15th, 2021, which would have been 159 days from March 10th, 2020, which would make the new expiration date November 21st, 2021.
And just briefly, what's the work that's being done? I assume it's similar work, right?
Yes, most of the work left at 50 Hunt Road is for the crossing and the sidewalk in the rear. As you can see, most of the construction is done on the front of the site. And the construction on 7 Gorham Street, it's actually on the rear of those units. The decks have not been installed yet, and there's still some paving to do in the resource areas.
Questions for the commission? Anyone? I'll entertain a motion to...
Dave, I move that we approve the requested extensions.
How long do you want to extend? A year?
I would say a year.
Is a year favorable?
Yes.
Excuse me.
I'll second.
George Dixon, a nice guy.
Must be
So there's a motion by Chris and a second by
Billy.
Billy. Any discussion? Any comments or discussion or questions from the audience? All in favor of the extension, say aye, and we can do it. We don't have to go around by name.
Aye.
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 Nobody knows how to behave anymore.
All opposed?
We're relearning.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
I
members of
hope
the
you have a
commission.
nice drive to Clinton.
Thank you, I will.
Next item on the agenda is a plan change to 74 Parkerville Road. Is there notice, Chris? Is there a notice for that or
No,
no? Because it
it's
was
a
an
plan
old.
change, yep.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Can I have your name and address,
Mr. Chairman,
please?
Jeffrey Brim, nice to see you again, everybody in person, as everybody's going to say tonight. And I understand that tonight may be Mr. McLaughlin's last meeting as chair.
Correct.
Maybe.
Congratulate you on your service.
It depends on the commission votes.
Do you all have the copy of the plan? I brought a bunch with me in case you didn't.
They all
Looks
should
like
have
you
it.
do.
Yep.
In my letter. Essentially, 74 Parkerville's on Hart Pond, and when we went to start doing the work out there, we recognized that there really wasn't much of a backyard, so we just moved the house towards Parkerville Road and away from Hart Pond, away from the wetland, approximately 20 feet. It's really more like 26 feet, and we need permission to do that, as you know, under the amended order policy of the DEP. And I got kind of slapped in the wrist by Katie because I should know better, but I didn't do that
No,
the
that's
proper
true.
way. So we've already excavated the foundation and poured the foundation, and we're in a cease and desist. So if you approve, hopefully we could remove the cease and desist and get back to backfilling the foundation.
Is this the only change, Jeff?
Yeah, this is the only change. Everything else stays
Change is to
exactly the same.
move it further away from Hart Pond?
Correct.
Yeah, you should have known better.
I concur.
You're in this business.
35 years. We made the change, and I have a superintendent, and he kind of, and I made the change, and then the next thing you know, there was Doug, and I wasn't right on top of it, so.
Well, you might remind him, if he's still your superintendent, the next time we might not be as lenient. Are there any comments or questions? Carl? John? Mark?
No, I don't, the only thing that's gonna move forward is gonna be the turnaround, but that doesn't affect us, because that's out of our jurisdiction.
Bill?
No, I'm fine.
Chris?
I'm good with it, Dave.
Any comments or questions from the audience on the request to change the plan?
I just had one question. Oh, what does it do for the grade? I know you have abutters obviously watching you, and they mentioned like a walkout basement now. Is that?
Yeah, we're not gonna
happening?
do the walkout basement, no. Again, because of the grades.
The
We're just
grade,
gonna
right.
have a bulkhead out the back.
Okay,
So the change is more than just moving it. The change is also eliminating the walkout basement.
no, there never was one.
There never was a
There
walkout.
was,
Never
okay.
was one.
Contemplated.
Anything else, Katie?
Nope, that's it.
Can I have a motion to approve the change in plans for 74 Parkerville Road?
So move, Dave.
Moved by Chris, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Billy, any discussion?
No topo changes.
Nope.
Okay. Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes.
And
I'll
then,
send you a memo for the records.
great, and you'll notify
We're
building
quick on
department
that
too.
one, yeah.
Yes,
Good.
yes, I'll give them the plan.
Getting right back into it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
The rhythm's there.
Okay, great.
I don't know if any of you noticed, on telemedia, they show a camera operating from Hart Pond. A picture.
At the beach.
Right, and they have a title on there, and it says Hart Pond, H-A-R-T. They don't spell Hart Pond correct on our own. You should.
I see it different
Pam, you
everywhere.
should get them to change that. Telemedia calls it Hart Pond, H-A-R-T.
That is the name of our association in honor
But that's
of
not
its-
the name of the pond.
in honor of its history. When, in the early maps, if you look at 18th century, 19th century maps, you will see.
Are you
H-
sure?
Yes, H-A-R-T, because that is the British spelling at the time of H-E-A-R-T. And if you go to the
So it's not named after the Hart family.
But if you go to the
All right.
gravestones in Hart Pond Cemetery,
I thought I'd read some history that said otherwise, but I'll defer to you because you're the expert. Next item on the agenda is a continuance for, I'm sorry, a new RDA for 175 Mill Road. Chris?
Mr. Chairman, under the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187, the Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a public meeting at the town offices at 50 Vilka Road, Chelmsford, on Tuesday, June 15, 2021, at 7 p.m. for a request for determination of applicability filed by Rodrigo Balboni de Oliveira. The applicant wishes to construct a covered front porch, deck, and two small additions at 175 Mill Road. Work will take place within 100 feet of a wetland.
Yes, ma'am. Can I have your name and address, please?
Hi, this is Kristen Farr, Project Wetlands Scientist with Hancock Associates, representing Rodrigo and U.S. Properties. We have, like you said, a request for determination of applicability for an existing house that we want to put on 2 additions and a small porch. It is within about 100 feet of a drainage swale. We took survey on the drainage swale and projected the 100-foot buffer zone, as well as your 25-foot no disturb, your 30-foot no impervious, and then your 50-foot no build, and it is within none of those areas. What we have is a really simple, I think, non-threatening to the wetland application, and we would request that you issue a negative determination of applicability.
Thank you. Approximately where is 175? How far down Mill Road is it?
I don't know Mill Road all that well, so I can't really speak to that.
Does anyone know where, is that halfway down Mill Road? I don't know.
Yeah,
Does anyone know what's around it? I'm just
Well,
trying to, I'm
State
just,
Street,
I'm just, oh, down by, okay.
So it's right at the corner of State.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, all right, I know where it is.
corner.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that helps, yeah.
And this is the main road, okay.
Yeah.
I have no questions. Carl?
I don't think so. No.
John?
I don't have any questions. It's the brown house, right?
Yeah, I think it is brown. Mhm.
Yeah, it's been vacant for a long time.
Right.
Anything's gonna be an improvement,
Good.
you know, as far as I'm concerned.
Mark?
These little additions you're adding on, are they gonna be on sonotubes, or are they gonna be on, Ford Foundation?
I think they're on a regular foundation. I didn't think to ask that question.
You don't have any straw wattles or anything showing on the,
My understanding is really flat there. It may not be
Actually pitches
necessary.
away from the wetland. Like the pitch goes to the house. The wetland's across the street,
oh, okay,
and then
And
it pitches down towards the house.
okay.
So
think
it would have to
there's-
all run uphill to get to the
I
wetland.
also
And
think there's
across
a,
the
there's
street.
a vegetated area, I think, along the front of the road.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's a pipe to the catch basin.
State Street's pretty, there's a good
oh,
pitch to
Walton
it.
lived?
Walter lived,
Oh,
right across
okay.
the street from Walter's house.
Oh, all right, okay.
So it's the blueberries and that little bit there.
Yep, yep. Oh, I didn't realize it
Yeah,
wasn't
that little
over
brown
there.
house.
Yeah,
next
it's,
to it.
it's across Mill Road.
Oh,
It's just the 100-foot reaches into the property.
okay, nope, sorry, nothing.
Billy?
No problem, no.
Chris?
Dave, good.
The proposed additions are just like small porches, is that what they are?
There's a small one along the driveway side,
Yeah,
one in the front that is a small bump out, and then a porch around that.
Are any of them enclosed, or are they open?
Well, in the front of the house, there's a small addition that would be enclosed, the covered porch.
That addition is like the front door, or is it next to?
I haven't seen any architectural, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
The addition on the, let's see, what side is this?
It's just that they're unusual additions, that's why I'm asking what they're gonna be used for. That has nothing to do with conservation, it's just nosy.
Just curiosity.
Yeah.
And actually, the deck in the back is actually exempt from wetlands.
It's outside the buffer
Because
zone.
it's outside and it's,
Yeah, very good. Katie, do you have any other questions? You've got some observations here, but
pretty much what we just said, yeah.
any questions or comments from the audience on 175 Mill Road? Hearing none, I will entertain a -3, I think, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
On a request for determination.
Anyway, I move that we approve the project by issuing a -3 determination.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by John. Is there any discussion? Any other comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you very much.
Next item is a amended notice of intent for 45 Richardson Road,
And there's a legal ad for that.
and there is a legal ad somewhere.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, legal notice. Under provisions of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Chelmsford Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 187, the Chelmsford Conservation Commission will conduct a public meeting at the town offices at 50 Brook Road, Chelmsford, on Tuesday, June 15, 2021, at 7 p.m. for an amended notice of intent filed by Maria Payne. The applicant wishes to construct a two-story addition, retaining wall, and patio at 45 Richardson Road. Work will take place within 100 feet of a wetland. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Ushman Rapshar from Taj Engineering LLC.
Vivian, you got the spelling of his name? Okay.
He's a repeat customer.
Okay, okay.
It just spells out like Patrick Moynihan.
Absolutely.
You will all recall, we had a hearing on this at the last meeting. Katie issued a cease and desist because construction of a wall and patio had been underway. And so we stopped that and asked the applicant to return with amended or altered plans. So, yes, sir.
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I just want to let you know that you guys look more handsome in person than the Zoom screen.
Good night.
So this amended plan and the changes we made was, as you can see, we are showing the retaining wall, and also we show the calculation of the floodplain volume storage displacement, which ends up to be actually 3.6 cubic yard to our credit. We add to the storage volume by virtue of removing all the sheds around the existing two-car garage and the shed on the left side of the existing house. We also reduce the number of sonotubes, the piers that supports the elevated addition by 3. As you recall from previous submission, there were 4 rows of 3, and right now there are only 3 rows. Also, we eliminated the sonotubes for the walkway from the proposed walkway from garage to the addition. So structurally, we'll address that. So the roof, which is open on both sides, it's an open walkway, it's just a roof, will be supported structurally without needing any post supporting the roof midway. One of the last, since we are going through this process, the applicant requested, and also to improve the site condition, the existing driveway, which is a bituminous driveway, has potholes and cracks, which causes more erosion as by the elements as time goes by. So the applicant just requested to add to fill in the potholes and just add a 1-inch top course to the existing driveway as is, without extending it in any direction. We are taking every measure to protect the resource areas by installing the erosion control all around the proposed activities. The site in overall, the applicant has started already the general cleaning and enhancing the appearance of the site, removing any debris. There won't be any piles of any material during the construction. of the addition. And with that, we would like to request the commission and to, if you may, to approve our application, please.
How much between the brick patio and the stone wall and the walkway, how much floodplain is destroyed and how much is restored by virtue of you taking down the shed extensions?
Including the fill behind the short retaining wall, and the total volume of fill or displacement will be 53.7 cubic yard. By virtue of all the sheds existing at the site, we will create 57.3 cubic yard. It will have a net additional flood storage created of 3.7 cubic yard.
So that first number includes the brick patio and the walkway between the house and the garage?
Correct.
And the retaining wall?
Correct.
That was 50 what?
53.7.
53.
The walkway and the patio, they are all at grade. They are not
Right.
occupying any storage.
Well, the 9 sonotubes, the area of the sonotubes, that's going to destroy floodplain too.
The sonotubes are just 10-inch, and they will be in place in the ground.
I understand, but that 10-inch circular, I assume they're circular,
Yes.
that 10-inch circle removes floodplain. So you get 9 times 10, so you got another 90 inches of floodplain you're removing by putting the sonotubes in place. So that's, how many cubic yards? Quick, how many cubic yards is 90 inches?
It's not really 90 inches.
Well, you said they're 10-inch,
They're 12-inch, that's the code, 12-inch columns.
12-inch.
Okay, 12 inch.
So the area, but the area is more than 12 inches. What's the area of a 12-inch?
It's
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
either.
not an
But the
engineer.
point is that the area of each sonotube removes floodplain, and that has to be replaced. The reason I'm talking about it, we had that issue at a solar farm that was constructed up
Southwell Field.
Watton,
up by Southwell.
Watton Street.
Each one of the sonotubes that these solar panels were inserted on was considered removal of floodplain, and DEP made them compensate for that. Now, it's a lot more square footage than you're talking about, because every solar panel had, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 4 or 6, but it was a big number, but it was counted. So you need to count the area of all of those sonotubes in your calculation and make sure you're compensating for that.
It will be 2 or 3 cubic yard at the most, which we will contribute. A solar farm cannot be contributed.
No, I'm not, I said it was much better, but the concept of the sonotube that holds a solar panel is the same as a sonotube that holds your building. And so it's the area of that sonotube that destroys floodplain. I just want to make sure, because DEP is going to ask you the same question.
Yeah, DEP hasn't.
We haven't heard from
commented
them yet, but I know they're going to ask that question.
No, they will not. Because the 100-year floodplain volume, comparing to 2 cubic yard, what is called in engineering is negligible. But anyway,
Okay,
if you want 2 cubic yard
okay.
of hole somewhere on the property, we will provide it.
Is the brick patio made of pervious or impervious?
They
bricks?
are impervious.
Impervious.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Perfect.
pervious.
Pervious,
I mean,
okay.
pardon
Bricks
me.
are
I
perfect.
confuse the two all the time. Blame it on my English.
Other questions? Carl?
No. No.
John?
I'm still looking at it, Dave.
I'll come back to you then,
Yeah.
Mark.
When you did the calculations of areas that you were gonna bring back as floodplain, the barn floors, did you consider those as you were creating pervious area because the barn floors are concrete floors?
The barn, we are not touching the barn. Don't we, let's say.
I know, and my point being is those floors are dirt in there now, right? Dirt floors in those barns? So you didn't use any of those calculations to give yourself more floodplain area? You didn't use that in calculations, correct?
No,
None of the floors in the barn, a two-car garage or anything?
that's right, no. They are, the.
Excuse me, sir, that's not what you said earlier. You said that removing the sheds created floodplain.
The sheds, because
That's not the question that Mark asked.
Where were the sheds?
Behind the two-car garage?
Okay, that's the part that I was.
Okay.
Shed extension, and then
Those
there's
don't
a
have
shed.
floors in them?
There's one in the
There's
top
one in the
left.
far corner,
Far
a
left.
little one.
I just want to know where you're getting your numbers for your square foot, for your cubic yardage, that's all.
for what?
For replicating floodplain.
Oh, the sheds have roof.
I understand that.
Okay, they're closed. So and all these structures, they have roof and they are enclosed.
When you have a flood, the flood doesn't go on the roof, it goes on the ground. Is there concrete floor in those sheds?
It's old, broken, but there is.
So they're pervious right now? Water goes through and goes out. So you can't use those as calculations, am I correct in that?
It's a gray area. I'd like to see what DEP comments on this, personally.
I would, if they truly
Because-
are pervious, I would agree with you. I mean, broken
Generally,
broken
flood-
cement, I'm sorry.
Generally, flood storage goes by the area you take up. So when you build something, like a house, that house takes up flood zone. So the shed takes up flood zone. When you take it out of there, it's now just a flat, structureless area.
Regardless of the flooring.
Yeah, this is why I want to see what
But
DEP.
I think Mark makes a good point. If the flooring, take the other extreme, if the flooring were 100% dirt,
You wouldn't gain anything.
that's right, you wouldn't get anything. What the applicant is saying is the floor is broken up, I think I heard you say.
Well, even if it is dirt, let's assume it is dirt. According to FEMA, the definition of a flood opening is that when you have a structure and you have an inlet open in and out, the flood comes in and the flood as it ebbs, it's out. These structures are closed. So according to FEMA definition, they are impervious right now because they have no opening. They're closed,
Okay?
and unless you go and open the gates, they let the flood in, but they have no way out, the same way they came in.
Oh, I
So-
understand how they work.
So since there is no existing flood opening in these structures, they are considered. And I have never I have never had any questions by.
So the question is, the only floodplain creation is the applicant's comment that he's creating floodplain by removing the shed.
Right.
And we're questioning that.
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And it's just the shed.
Well,
The two sheds.
There's-
the
Correct.
extensions
Right,
around the
Right.
garage,
Around
and then
the
the shed
garage.
in the back
Yeah,
corner.
yeah.
right, the back left
Mark,
corner.
anything else?
No.
I'm all right.
Billy?
No.
I mean, we talked about this before, but it's certainly an environmentally sensitive area. We've seen historically a lot of flooding, right in that area. So we certainly are being careful to make sure that we don't aggravate the flooding. I would say, to the positive, I see a number of improvements here with the site, so I think that's good. And if we end up with, more flood capacity, I think that's good too. So I think overall, I see some improvements here that I think are going to be, better for the environment. But I agree, I think I heard the comment earlier. We need to make sure we get those, make sure there's no DEP comments, or if there are DEP
We're
comments.
still waiting for
Yeah.
DEP comments,
This
correct?
was sent to DEP, right?
Right, of course.
Right, okay.
Same day it was
Right.
sent to me.
Right.
Trouble is DEP has a history of taking
unless we push them or you
Up to
push
30
them.
days, if you're lucky.
Was it sent with the changes to the NOI, the alterations you made? Everything's up
Yes,
to
sir.
date as far
Yeah,
as
yeah.
calculations are all?
Yes, sir. The same plan that in front of you, they have it, and I have the certified mail receipt.
Good. So, I mean, I think we've got that in front of DEP, so it's good. Overall, I think there's some improvements here that it could make the property much better, certainly environmentally, and I think more aesthetically pleasing as well, too, for sure.
John, can I go back to you? Do you have?
Oh, I was just wondering about the shed extensions, and if they're coming down, and that was gonna, that's the question, but it got answered,
Okay, good.
right.
You have any other comments or questions?
I just had, on the DEP form, where is it? Let's see. So this form, this page 3, the bordering land subject to flooding has to be filled out. See, you have to fill, so DEP's probably gonna be looking for that. See, there's a checkbox, because that's a resource area.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's gotta be filled
I'm
out,
sorry, that's
so.
my typo. I'll take care of that tomorrow morning
Okay.
and send it to you.
Yeah, that's the only thing I noticed,
I'll,
so they will
email
question
you.
that, so.
Katie, do we have any report on this from town engineer? Is she gonna look at
She
it?
hasn't given me anything yet. I know
Is
she's
she
out for
going
the
to-
next, yeah.
Okay.
I know she's been out, or she's out for the next couple of days.
So, are there any comments or questions from the audience on this amendment to 45 Richardson Road? I think, just for some clarification, because we talked about it earlier, before the meeting, is the town is engaged in a evaluation of PFAS chemicals in the ground around that area, from the dog park to the old highway department, and to some of the properties around it. Whether or not there is chemical contamination is a subject of discussion by the Board of Health and also the state of Massachusetts. It doesn't really affect our discussions about floodplain and the kind of construction that they want to do, so. But having said that, I think we need to hear from DEP, so I think we need to continue this. I'm not willing to approve it subject to, because I'd like to see what DEP says about floodplain compensation.
Will we get a report from DEP?
Yeah, they put comments on their website. I can put I can contact someone and tell them we need it stat, basically. We need it by the next meeting.
Yeah.
If you don't push them, they're gonna hang on it for a long
This
time.
isn't our jurisdiction, but is there anything detrimental that the applicant can do when he does excavation there to worsen the conditions for surface water or anything? I don't know.
I mean, we certainly have jurisdiction on water quality is one of our interests, for sure, and with the drinking wells being so close to the site, we definitely want to make sure that nothing's aggravated or made worse, yeah. We may have to have a condition, we may want to look into a
We
condition
don't
around
even
that.
know if it exists on site yet.
Well, so we don't have any evidence that there's a
No,
problem on the
no,
site.
I'm just thinking.
Well, we
in
know
the future.
there's evidence that there's a problem in a very close proximity.
Right.
We don't know exactly what's going on in this site. But certainly the aquifer is right there, and this issue's very, very close.
Do any of you know of any group in town planning to do any testing on this particular site? I'm unaware of it.
There a monitoring well going up behind it?
Well, there's-
Behind it on water, that's
The
water
water
department
It's not water
property.
department.
They're in the water
yeah,
department,
Right
right.
behind his property.
And that's why we heard from
Mr. Harper.
Mr. Harper
Yeah.
Right.
last meeting.
Well, the sonotubes are maximum 4 feet, so.
No, but it gets to the point that, I think Mark or Billy said, when you're doing excavating, you're gonna disturb the dirt. And if there's chemicals in the dirt, they're gonna come to the surface when you do your excavating, or when you do your site work. I would have
Yeah,
that
the
concern.
question is, can we make the property owner test? Is that our jurisdiction?
you tell me
I don't
that.
think it is. I think that's a Board of Health thing.
Do we know if
It's
the
nothing
board,
approved by Board of Health, right? They're gonna review the
Is the
application.
board-
This?
No, the application, the building permit.
does the Board of Health look at it?
They're not usually on that, I don't think.
No?
No.
we certainly could make an inquiry of the Board of Health saying, we're reviewing this, and we have an interest in understanding what, if anything, is in the ground, and see what their response is. We certainly could ask them that.
Okay.
Particularly, I mean, we'll be able to do that if we're gonna be waiting for DEP's answer. So we've got, it's not gonna be an additional amount of time we have to make the applicant wait. So why don't we do that? Why don't we make a request of the Board of Health to tell us if they know of any, I don't know what the right question is, because we don't know, if there's any reason to believe that the dirt on this site has any contamination in it. In light of the town's PFAS study.
Ask if they have a history on it,
We might.
kind of file history.
It's kind of a vague question.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know but we don't have any reason, we don't know how to be more specific.
No, I know, yeah.
You mean if
I
there
mean, you
is-
wanna ask them you could ask them about PFAS.
Yes.
All I can tell you is that the well at the dog park was tested, and the level of PFAS in that well is right at the acceptable limit for what PFAS needs to be. So they're still waiting for DEP to let the dog park people know if the irrigation can be turned back on.
Maybe the request of the Board of Health is, can you tell us if you know what the PFAS level is on that site?
They probably wouldn't, it's private property.
Yeah, they wouldn't know that, but I.
Well, if it's a general,
They'd have to
I
put a
mean,
monitor
yeah,
well in.
yeah, I mean,
They'd have to
we
put a
can
well
ask a
in.
question. If they've got input, they'll provide us input.
Right.
You know, we'll take what we get.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think they're limited on
You
where
could
they
even
can do.
make it open, you know, do you have
Sorry?
any input on it, the way you just worded it, Chris?
Yeah, input.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to request the Chelmsford Board of Health to tell us if they are aware of any
Water,
PFAS contamination on the site.
Right,
I
so
mean,
moved.
that's, you said we're too general, that's pretty specific.
So moved.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll second it.
seconded by Carl, discussion. Any comments from the audience on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So I think we then need a motion to continue this until, are we meeting July 6th?
Yep, as of now, yep.
July 6th.
Yep.
How's that work for the applicant? July 6th?
And we'll let you know when we get, although you will get, will he get DEP's comments when we
They're on
do?
the website, I will get them,
To make sure he sees them.
send
yeah.
them, if there are any. But I'm gonna have to do some pushing of them tomorrow.
Oh, you're good at that.
I can push.
80% of the times when DEP has no comments, they don't respond at all.
Yeah, but 90% of the time lately, they've been taking 40 days plus to
That's
do
okay,
it, so.
that's fine.
I would hate to have them issue something and then have it get appealed.
No,
At
that's fine,
DEP,
no,
you
no,
know,
that's okay,
'cause
I'm fine with it. I mean,
That's more of a process than just waiting, because then you have to go through the appeal.
Okay. Can I have a motion to continue the hearing for 45 Richardson Road until July 6th?
Dave, I move we continue this hearing until Tuesday, July 6th.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Very good. Next item on the agenda is a continuance of the aquatic invasive treatment for Hart Pond. We were waiting for something. We got it? We were waiting for one thing, right? Oh, there was a
Remember.
DEP's, we were waiting for something from DEP so that they could start.
Any comments, Sam?
They haven't had any comments, so.
That means they're okay.
And they haven't commented on Westford either, on the Westford side, that I know of.
And
But they're,
how long's
but
it
they're,
been?
but they're planning to start
It's been months
2 days,
since they
right?
filed this.
So it's been months, so.
And, you know, this is a basic filing.
Yeah.
DEP sees these across the Commonwealth, so.
This is like an annual event.
It is an annual event. Yeah.
It's kind of like running the bulls, you know?
But Pam, you're gonna start work on Thursday?
Yes,
Okay.
it's supposed to. We have someone from Solitude Lake Management. to
You
answer.
guys haven't heard anything from DEP, have you?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here on behalf of Kara. She was at the last
Yeah.
meeting. She said she spoke with Gary. I don't remember the last name.
Bogan?
Yeah, it said that he didn't have any comments. but I
Right,
don't know why
right.
they didn't post it on the website. Or,
That was the only thing we were waiting for, to approve it, just the okay from DEP. So
if you have
And a
any
file number, which we have.
then we have a file.
We're good then?
Yeah.
I thought that went through you, Katie. You didn't get that email?
I did.
Said
It said no comments and then file number. I just was drawing a blank. And then I know the Westford Conservation Agent is concerned with special conditions and matching their special conditions, but I've never put special conditions on an invasive treatment for a pond. So I think
So
the
we
only
don't-
thing Westford's requesting is that when they treat Chelmsford's side, because Westford's meeting isn't till next week,
We keep the
500
stuff.
feet away from Westford's side.
You gotta be, pardon me. You gotta be
Dave, we're on
kidding.
TV.
Yeah, I know, I just said, pardon me. You gotta be kidding me.
So,
Which
So-
means 2 treatments.
to treat,
Yeah.
oh,
And
okay.
I don't think.
Physically, how do you do it? Just drop it in the middle of the
They-
pond
they-
and let
Westford
it
actually-
migrate?
Westford submitted a buffer on
yeah, we
paper.
have the treatment areas on GPS and the town line, so we can stay 500.
You
feet
can.
away. Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Because
once the-
eventually,
once the herbicide's
eventually
in
it should
the
leak
water,
in.
It's gonna
It's
do what it
gonna-
wants to.
yeah.
but-
Okay.
So,
Any other questions of the commission?
so I can't think of special conditions other than notifying the public properly, which they've already.
Well, they've already
Done.
notified you.
So I don't know what Westford's thinking for special conditions.
Well,
but-
they're much more thorough than we are.
Yes, I-
Can I have a motion to, can I have a motion to approve the notice of intent for the Hart Pond Aquatic Invasive Treatment Program?
Dave, I move that we approve this request and that we issue our standard order of conditions.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mark, discussion? Any comments from the audience? Yes,
I
Pam?
think that's an excellent decision.
You're relieved because you posted notices already for Wednesday. So I have to get you this tomorrow.
80 of them with
Thursday.
4 staples each, so.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Okay, very good.
Just call me midday tomorrow and I'll have it ready for you if you want. The order.
And what do I have to do?
You should keep it on file with you.
In case somebody,
In your
in case
records.
somebody
I
from
know.
Westford questions you.
Because they'll be working at their own risk for 10 days.
Okay, so
Because-
I'm working at a vaccine clinic all day tomorrow,
Okay, then
Thursday morning?
yeah,
Okay.
just somebody who's in the area should have it on hand.
All right, thank you, and thank you all.
All right.
Okay, good
night.
night.
Good night.
Next item on the agenda is a request for a certificate of compliance for 77 Tyngsbooro Road.
Yeah, so the next 3 are actually all the same place. It's a gas station on Tyngsbooro Road. I think it's the orange and blue gas station. I can't even think of it.
The orange and blue.
Gulf. And so the 77 is actually the pump's address, and the 81 is the store's address. So it's all the same place. These are really old. You can see the number 511, 345, 624 from when it was originally built in, what are the years on those? 1980 something.
Was that something new that was constructed back then, or was that remediation of a gas station that was leaking?
Speedway was there before,
Sun Oil Energy.
Speedway gas.
It was a different gas station, so it was a new
Right.
remediation,
Bobby
yeah,
Greenwood now.
redevelopment.
So we've had no problems up
Oh,
there since then?
1863, that's all he knows.
That's right.
We've had no problems at that site since the notice of intent
Not
was...
that I've heard of, no complaints, no butter calls, nothing. These are old. I have,
Any
alls
other
I have
que-
is a letter from the attorney representing it,
Any other questions?
saying there.
I'll entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for DEP number 1290345, 1290511, and 129-0624.
So moved.
Moved by Chris, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Hey, Dave, I think we're moving quicker when it's in person versus
Yeah, you
Zoom.
guys have goals for afterwards.
We're not taking roll call every vote, too.
I think that helps, yeah, and then doing the roll call.
You're on mute, you're on mute.
I think there's motivation when we're in person.
Next item, under discussion, what is the frosted elfin study?
This is a conservation parcel on Old Stage Road. Just one of the parcels we own, random ones. Frosted elfins are butterflies,
Ah,
and
who would've
this
known?
group wants to do some study of the larva.
Is this the
Larva.
the citizen, the neighbors?
Let me get the. You guys haven't.
Yeah.
There's an email. Yeah.
Is it the neighbors that want to do it, or is it?
No,
Mass
these are
Division
the. There's actually a frosted elfin survey coordinator for U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
Okay.
So it's U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They want to go in at night. And
And night operation, huh?
yeah, nighttime operation with UV flashlight.
Who's is Katie Nolan? Is she
She's the frosted elfin survey coordinator.
works for the state of Massachusetts?
Yeah,
Okay,
U.S. Fish and
okay.
Wildlife.
Will we see the results of the study?
We can if we request
I
it.
think we should get a copy.
Yeah.
At a minimum, it should
Yeah.
go on file. What I would like to
Anybody know what a
do is
frosted
to
elfin
give
is?
it the study.
They look more like moths.
Is it a butterfly?
They're butterflies, but
I want to send a copy of the report to Zoo New England because
Okay.
they're,
Don't know what it is.
I'd like a picture of one too, Dave.
what, an
Google.
elfin?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know what they look like.
they look like
They're small.
moths. They look like brown moths.
That's why they're called elfin.
Elfin? Yeah.
Okay.
Frosted
Help me out, where's Old Stage Road?
elfin.
Old Stage Road is in Old Stage.
Oh, right.
You want to go right through the middle of it.
Yeah, got it.
That
Down
is,
down by Rafina's. You go
that
in
is
from
your
Rafina's.
frosted
Yeah, yeah,
elfin.
got
It
it.
looks like a moth.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Okay, good, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Nice. Do they need access from somebody's private property, or is it
I think the parcel's
landlocked?
right on the road, actually.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Well, if you look at it and you find out that we need to contact a neighbor,
I'm sure they've,
yeah.
they're familiar with that.
But that sounds good to me.
Okay. Next item is just an update on the turtle project, which Zoo New England is doing off of River Neck Road. We gave them permission to extend a small turtle trail of about 100 feet, I guess. They were doing that in early June. I think the work is completed. I expect to get a report from them when they're finished. That was just to facilitate the movement of turtles in their habitat. That was the only purpose of the study. I have no update on Willis Drive property. Remember I told you we posted our rules and regulations. I haven't thought of any way for us to physically manage the removal of property on that site at the end of the season and then dispose of it. So I think we ought to just kind of work with the people and get them to kind of
For Willis.
arm twist, Billy, you've been by recently, are they still working on the raft?
Yeah, it's fairly,
She's still
clean
calling,
down there.
complaining.
Is the raft finished? Well, yeah, but we know the
No,
neighbor, that
they're
neighbor
still-
will always complain.
they're still working on it, but it's not an eyesore down there. There's a few boats and
Yeah.
some canoes.
We're not creating a dangerous, like nails, no number of kids can step on it.
No.
She claims her grandson couldn't fish because of it, but it's not. Is it on the in the way of the shoreline? or-
No.
It's about 10 feet off the
So
shoreline.
there's room to stand and.
You can walk
fish.
around it, yeah.
I mean, hopefully they
Plenty of
finish
room.
it quickly and get it in the water. That's all I
Sooner the better.
Yeah.
Can we have let's have an update on land management, Carl?
Sure. So as you know quite well, Dave, we have warrant article number 27 coming up for funding, $30,000 for the driveway and parking. That will be voted on Thursday at the town meeting. Dave and I have been reviewing the conservation restriction. We got another pass of information of the document from the land trust. We made some comments today. We spent some time on it. We will have another round with them. We'll probably meet face-to-face with them on this. But we're getting closer. I think we're pretty close. Couple of things that we got to get resolved, but we'll hopefully we'll make progress. We'll get there. Thanks to John, we got the grass cut over at the property. He cut a path last week. I think it was Thursday. You went over there. My sources told me you were there. So nice. Thank you very much for doing that. He also delivered a gate, which we're going to put to use on the property. And then 2 weeks ago, right after our last meeting, Dave and I met with the surveyor, Scott Ludwig, and we went and walked a good part of the property, and it was a very good walk. He really knew that land already quite a bit. He had done lots of work in that area on abutting properties, so he knew it quite well. And the bottom line is, if it's a stone wall, or if there's a boundary, it's a stone wall. I mean, that's the nature of that site being that long. The good news there was it really does look, from what he was pointing out, that our plan to do the driveway, the parking lot, I think we're going to make that work. It's a little bit of work. It's why we have to spend some money, but it should work out. And that's it that I have on Warren-Pohl. Do you have anything else on Warren-Pohl?
Yeah. I think we're at a point where we will have made, Carl and I will have made our final changes and recommendations to this conservation restriction.
Right.
What I propose we do is, at our next meeting on July 6th, go into executive session at the end of the evening in order to discuss the contract, because we don't have to discuss the contract in public. We'll be able to get it out to you, so you'll have, it's probably 5 pages, 6 pages?
Yeah, the boilerplate stuff's a few more pages.
Yeah,
but-
there's a lot of boilerplate in it, which you can scan through, but what it effectively is, it's a document that says, here's what we're the managers of the property. The reason you have a conservation restriction is you want a third party to review that our management of the property is consistent with what was agreed to at the outset. And what was agreed to at the outset is 2 sections. A list of things we cannot do under any, for example, we can't build a Walmart on the
Darn,
property,
Or a skating rink.
or a skating
gonna
rink.
be my way out.
And then a list of things we can do.
Can't build a skating rink?
Hmm?
Can't build a skating rink?
Not like an indoor
Like a
arena.
I mean, we could have maybe an outdoor rink.
Skate on the.
There have to be
So
a pond. in
those are
there.
the 2 things. And what's important is, going forward, if that document is agreed to with the Chelmsford Conservation Land Trust, then annually and periodically, they will have access to the property and review that we, as custodians of the property, are doing what's said in that document
And not deviating.
and not deviating from, yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea is to keep the property in its current conservation condition and not to go through. Now, the changes that we'll be able to make to it are, for example, if we signed the document tomorrow, we would have language in there that talked about the parking lot and what we could do. It talks about us being able to do farming like bees and orchards and community gardens, but it says we can't do commercial farming. We can't raise a herd of cattle or
What about like
Livestock.
recreation, like little, baseball fields or soccer fields or things
No.
like that? Is that out?
it defines, remember, it's passive recreation as the
Passive.
conservation regulations of the state of Massachusetts does. The one part of the passive recreation, which you'll see, just as an aside, is we put some language in there about drones, because that's kind of new.
That is a big issue.
And one of the, we want to be able to allow public safety to use drones, because they are now. Fire and police are both using drones. And we've had, Carl, we need to put final touches on the language, but we thought it might be appropriate for us perhaps to host a drone competition of some sort for Boy Scouts or for kids, under some control.
Yeah, but
Now,
not,
you could argue that's not passive recreation, or you could argue it is, so.
It's just
The-
like kite flying with
Yeah.
motorized kites.
Yeah,
but we wouldn't
No
allow
fuel, there's
anybody to
no-
just randomly show up on the site.
and fly their drone, right.
Right.
Right, it would have to be organized. You know, we have the same, we're gonna be allowed, we want to be allowed to do the same things that we do on our other reservations.
Right.
So we'll call those out.
Like horseback riding and
Horseback
hiking and
riding.
cross-country skiing,
Yeah, things
bicycle,
like that.
mountain biking.
So what I'll do is, we'll get it out to you so you have time to read it. Then in executive session, want to talk about it. And then Carl and I will sit down face to face with Dale Williams, who's president of the Land Trust, and one of his people, and we'll try to hash out the differences. Then we'll bring in the lawyers. I don't want to bring in the lawyers in until there's pretty much agreement between both parties. You know, right.
Lawyers, huh.
Does that make sense?
So that'll be on July 6th. So pick it
So
up
the
from-
only, the only thing
from the-
left is just the Crooked Spring Bridge is being worked on by the Eagle Scout, starting to do some work there. I think he was there Sunday. I haven't been by to see what's happening there. And then the last thing is just, we had a visitor at the Thanksgiving Forest over the weekend. There was a tent planted right in the middle of the trail. Beautiful spot, looking over River Meadow Brook, or whatever we call the brook there.
Yeah.
It was there, we're told, Friday, Saturday, and I saw it Sunday night, and we removed it this morning. The police did get a plate of somebody that was thought to be perhaps the person, but,
The car was in the parking lot for the
Yeah.
same 2 days overnight
yeah.
that the tent was on the main trail.
But
So-
there's no person.
But the
No,
person
Carl
never
said-
came back.
I think Carl said there were two, excuse me, two sleeping bags.
Hope we're
Two
not
sleeping
dredging
bags.
the water in a week from now.
No. It actually looked
Or
like
the
a pretty
woods.
new tent and a new drop cloth, and there was some clothes.
Yeah, where'd the
and-
person go? That makes me
Yeah,
wonder.
I don't know. Well, the car's gone too, so.
Did
So
someone-
anyway, so the, so
Did
the,
you know if someone took the car or the car, police
I
took it?
assume the person left the site and went somewhere else and just never came
I
back.
bet you the description of the inside of the car was a mess, so the person might have been living in the car to begin with.
Right. So anyway, we took
And-
care
and
of
what-
it.
And I told Carl, I'll talk to Paul. We now have a person on the town hall who is involved in social services, I think. And I suspect, I don't know for certain, but I suspect one of her responsibilities will be keeping an eye on homeless people in Chelmsford, because there are more than one. There
Todd
are,
Melanson's wife.
yeah.
Yeah, the car was not a Chelmsford registered car.
Okay.
But he said, there was enough information on the owner that he said, I'm pretty sure this is the right person, so. The cop, I just talked to a cop, he was there, so. Anyway, that's it.
I just did, I'm sorry.
Just gonna, who's making the presentation at town meeting?
I will make the presentation. There's 2 warrant articles. Do you know what the number is for the Freeman Lake one by any chance?
31 or something like that? Not sure.
Carl, you and I are elected reps, so we'll be there.
Yeah, I would just ask you if you know any town meeting reps to kind of talk to them and convince them it's a good idea. Remember, the Freeman Lake one is to give about 14 or 15 town-owned parcels to put them under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. All but 1 or 2 of them directly abut Freeman Lake. And a lot of them are abutting each other. In terms of what we do in the future, that's for the commission to decide. The real purpose is to be able to protect the shorefront of Freeman Lake. I just want to make sure you all are aware of the discussions about Oak Hill in the Congregational Church. You've seen them in the patch and other places. I did get some other information, which was not in the papers, that this proposal, the proposal that the North Congo Church sell their property, which is between Route 3, Scotty Hollow, Oak Hill Reservation, and Ledge Road, or Oak Hill Road, the old, the small road. The proposal is that they had an offer to purchase that land. The thought was that the buyer would put in some kind of a warehouse on that site.
Not possible.
Unknown how they get access to Swain Road or to Ledge Road. Unknown.
It's not even zoned properly for that. So it was just somebody who didn't do their
The
due diligence.
the parishioners rejected it. But I understand it's not dead. The idea was a third party would purchase the land, would negotiate with the town / us to swap a piece of land that they had acquired elsewhere and give it to conservation in return for a piece of our land at Oak Hill, which would then give them access to a road. Nobody's ever talked to us. As far as I know, nobody's ever talked to Paul or Evan, so we'll just wait and see. Needless to say, the people of Scotty Hollow are not too happy, but that's the status of that. The Russell Mill, the two trails at Russell Mill, which are going to be emergency evacuation trails, New England Mountain Bike Association is putting in place emergency posts, which have numbers on them. The idea is to give those numbers and their location to the Chelmsford Fire Department. One is an access from the end of Freeman Road. The other is an access from the main parking lot.
Right.
So if somebody got hurt, which has happened in the last couple of years, if they can get to a cell phone, they can tell the fire department, I'm approximately near marker number such and such. So they should be finished with that this summer. That's all I had. Last item on the agenda is I'd like to call for elections for next year to be effective on July 6th. We normally do it once a year for the fiscal year, and we elect the post of chairman and the post of vice chair and secretary. That's one job. Remember, the vice chair's and secretary's role is twofold. Vice chair sits in for chair if the chair's unavailable, and the secretary is the person, as Chris was doing tonight, who reads the notices. That's why it's one job. We didn't want to overwhelm Chris with too much work. I think I told all of you guys, I did not tell you, John, I apologize, that I didn't want to be chair again. I've been chair for a number of years, on and off. I think it's time for someone else to run the commission and get some new thoughts and some new ideas. So if I will entertain nominations for chair at this time to be effective at the July 6th meeting.
I nominate Chris Garahan.
Is there a second for
A
Chris?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for chair? I'll close the nominations for chair and note that Chris Garahan has been elected as chairman of the Chelmsford Conservation Commission for the next fiscal year. I'll entertain motions for vice chair / secretary. And I would ask that we give some thought, and you'll know where I'm going when I say this, that the vice chair's role be more focused on land management, because we really don't have a direct focus on land management, and we probably should have more of one. I took it on. Chris may want to be more involved in it going forward, but we probably could have someone who's really had a direct focus, and obviously I'm thinking of Carl, but.
I was gonna say, I smell a nomination right
No,
there.
I'll entertain,
I nominate Carl.
Is there a second?
Secretary /
Second.
land management.
Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Carl is vice chair and secretary of Conservation Commission. I want to thank you guys.
Your reading glasses are ready for those legal ads.
I want to thank you.
I had to work on my voice.
I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Vivian. I want to thank Katie. You've made my job very easy over the years, and frankly, I've had a lot of fun doing it.
You did a great job,
Dave,
Dave,
you did a
for
great
a long
job.
time.
Great.
You haven't lost a step yet, Dave.
Yeah, thank you very much,
We
Dave.
have no minutes right now, do we? No.
Nope.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn until July 6th.
Move.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Done. Good.
We don't plan to be here.